This is part 3 of the Chapter 9 lecture. We have this problem. The parenteral medication supplied to the liquids, this is the example 9.4. The prescriber ordered heparin at 5,000 units subcutaneously every 12 hours. The label on the vial reads 10,000 units per milliliter. How many milliliters will you administer to the patient? Now, this really is, as a math problem, is just like all the other stuff we've been doing. But heparin is a dangerous drug. It is considered a high alert drug. It is never given intramuscularly because of the risk of hematomas. And you really need to pay attention because there are two drugs that often get mixed up. Heparin sodium is not the same as the heparin flush solution. So you really need to be aware of that, okay? If you go ahead and look at the next page, I'm coming back to this. They give you an example of the vial of heparin. It's for educational purposes only. So whatever you do, do not try to withdraw it from this piece of paper, okay? Yes, I'm a little bit silly today. That's okay. It's Friday. It happens. Okay, so let's come back to this problem. We want to do a conversion. Well, I want to end up with 5,000 units. What I am given is there are 10,000 units per milliliters. So that gives me this relationship from the beginning. Now what I want to end up with is how many milliliters. So I want milliliters on the top. So to use this, I'm going to go ahead and flip it so that my milliliters end up on the top. And units in the bottom. Now I'm going to multiply this by what I want to end up with. I want to have 5,000 units. I'm trying to cancel out my units, right? So I put 5,000 units up here. And this is over A1. My units cancel out. I'm going to end up with milliliters. If you do the multiplication straight across, you get 5,000 over 10,000. Which reduces to 1/2 a milliliter, which is of course 0.5 milliliters. Okay. The next few pages, you get the image. Then you see that they go through the same process exactly that we did. They converted the 5,000 units into milliliters. So that's what we want. This is the strength. And then they multiplied on the left and we multiplied on the right, but we did exactly the same conversions. It multiplied out, it reduced to 1/2 number of milliliters, and so we have our choice right there. Okay. Okay, so let's go ahead and start talking about drugs that are in powdered form rather than liquid form, okay? Some parenteral medications are supplied in powdered form in sealed vials. The powder cannot be removed from these vials. You must either add sterile water or saline, sometimes something different, and dissolve the powder to form a solution. And then we withdraw from the vial the liquid volume proper for the dose required, okay? So we need to talk about labels a little bit here. So let's look at this label right here, okay? Let's look at some information here. We're told in this vial we have 20 million units, okay? Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit here, all right? Recommended storage is dry, okay? We're given the proper temperature, okay? These are important right here. After reconstitution, solution should be refrigerated and discarded after 7 days. Okay. You want to make sure that you're making note of this right here. This is the usual dosage. So if your math tells you and you get something different, you need to be aware of this, and you can probably, figure out the best way to make sure that you're double checking that, making sure you're not getting that wrong. And then we have options here. We could create in this file a diluent that we could add 75 milliliters and end up with this 250,000 units per milliliter. Or if we add a little bit less, we get a stronger solution. Even less, we get it even stronger. Okay? So because of this, it's going to be important that you make a note of what dosage you ended up making it. So for a multi-use label, when you have a multi-use drug like this, you always need to, first of all, mark the date and time you mixed it. You need to mark the strength. You need to mark the date and time it will expire. You need to mark the storage directions. And then, of course, you need to remember your initials. Sorry, that was off the screen.